Hello everyone! Today we're going to talk about the bias tape. We've showed you the chiffon dress, which had the unprocessed edges of the ruche and the strings made of the bias tape. I think that there are a lot of video lessons on how to make a bias tape, but we will also show you one way to do it. First of all, I want to tell you a bit about the bias tape. It can serve as a string, bow, or even a buttonhole. It's very easy to make the buttonholes of the bias tape. It's pretty convenient and, at the same time, very beautiful. When you have the buttonholes of the bias tape here, and some of them are not buttoned, it looks really good. It's a very useful technology. You can use the bias tape not only for the strings, bows and buttonholes. You can use it for the embroidery and make any pattern of it. If you sew it carefully, you can add the rhinestones, for example. If we make such an item in our fashion house, I'll show it to you. Today I'll show you how to make a bias tape, and you'll decide how to use it. I forgot to tell you an important thing. Natalie will help us today. Of course, the stripe of fabric should be cut at the angle of 45 degrees towards the lengthwise grain. You won't get a beautiful bias tape if you cut at the other angle. The width of the stripe is 3 centimeters. When Natalie cuts it out, we will start sewing. Such bias tape is often used in the dresses, blouses. It looks really good on the sleeves. The string is bias. The length of the stitch is 1.5 millimeters. Don't make the long stitches, otherwise you won't be able to turn the bias tape out. At the beginning, make the wider stitches, and then move the stitching closer to the edge. The width should be 3 millimeters. We'll stitch it and show to you. The tailors in our fashion house make very thin bias tapes. Natalie makes very small stitches, and the width of the seam is 3 millimeters. I think that after watching this video, you'll make the items with the bias tape. With the strings, buttonholes, it's a very convenient technology. How would you make a buttonhole in an item without a special equipment? You can just make such ones. We've finished stitching. You can see that the stitching is wider at the beginning. We need to cut off all the extra pieces, the beginning and the end. Now we need to cut off the parts which we don't need. Natalie leaves just about 5 millimeters for the tape to be round. I remind you that we do it for a tape to be round. We can't leave the whole piece because it won't fit. Notice how Natalie cuts all the extra pieces off till the very end. Now thread a needle with the same thread we used for the stitching. Have a look at what Natalie is doing. She threaded the needle and now she makes a knot in order not to lose this end. We took the sewing machine needle, threaded it with the 2 threads, and now we pull it inside. The technology develops so fast. I haven't known this technique neither. I learned with you. The most important thing is that this end should come inside. Be very careful. Basically, we turn the tape inside itself. Be very careful. Pull the tape and turn it out. Do it slowly, otherwise it can stuck inside. You should be very patient to do it. Even Natalie does it slowly. When we show you how to iron it, you'll see the finished bias tape. The bias tape is pretty thin, and you can't even imagine how thin can be the bias tapes of chiffon made by our tailors. The technology is the same though. Pin the beginning of the bias tape to the ironing desk. Now stretch it and iron. Notice that we don't put it on an ironing desk. Natalie irons it this way for it to be round. The bias tape is almost ready. I want to thank Natalie for an amazing work. We'll let her go now. Now I'll tell you about the bias tape. It's round because we haven't pressed it, and it's stretched. We cut off all the wide ends. Very often, when making the strings of the bias tape, we end them with the knots. Tie a knot and cut the end off. You can make the buttonholes of the bias tape this way. You can make some adornments of it, or an embroidery. Make a pattern and add some decorations. It looks really beautiful. This technology can also help you be different every day. That's all for today. We are Paukšt Irina and Natalie. Subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.